Hi again, Todd here, just at the train station on my way home. I just had another thought. I just wanted to quickly go through this. When I tell people that I do out-of-body exploration, I tend to get, from people, maybe 1 out of every 4 people, I get them say something like, wow, this all sounds really interesting. Great, flying about in these other dimensions, sounds fantastic. But what about planet Earth? What about your life back here on planet Earth? And really what people are saying are, asking are, the here and now. That's what they're talking about, the here and now. It's an interesting concept, and many people have different ideas about the here and now, and I do too. Now, let's just think about this. Okay, very valid question. Somebody says to me, okay, your life back here on physical Earth, why are you not focused on that? Well, I would first say, well, why are you assuming that all I do is lie around on a couch and do out-of-body exploration? I have to earn a living just like anyone else. So let's look at this in 2 different ways. Let's say the average person who most likely is doing a job because that's, they got into that some way. Maybe it's not something that they're very passionate about, but they enjoy enough, or maybe they don't enjoy, but they do it because it's what they've always done, or they do it because it pays the bills. So if it's not coming from a place to where they're ultra passionate about it, they're less in the moment than someone who does a job that they love. Like me, for example, I have work that I really enjoy. I teach people how to, extend consciousness beyond the physical domain. So explore consciousness through altered states of reality and different dimensions of reality. So just take your typical person, they're at their job, and they're not quite focused on work. They're thinking about things in the past, they're thinking about things in the future, they're thinking about, friends, they're thinking about how much they hate their boss. They're thinking about everything but focusing on the present moment. So to me, the definition of the here and now is being focused on the moment, the present. So if somebody's at work in a job they don't like, and they're thinking about the past, thinking about the future, or anything that they can possibly think of other than their job, they're not really much in the here and now. Let's now look at me as an example. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about what I do. So I am more in the moment, I would say, than a lot of people, because I really enjoy, talking to people on the phone, interacting with people through email, thinking about planning my workshops, planning the venues. I'm so much in the moment throughout my working day because I love what I do. So I don't, flit around thinking about the past, thinking about the future, and other distractions. I am focused on the here and now, planet Earth, my life. Now, let's take this a little bit further. People do seem to assume that, I lie around on a couch and that's all I do. I go out of body. Now, when I practice the out-of-body state, I will usually do this either in the evening or the early hours of the morning. So let's say, again, you take me and one other person, the average person in society, and let's say we go to bed at a similar time, say about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. They get into bed, and their body and mind fall asleep pretty much at the same time, usually maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, and they fall asleep. Well, as I'm going to sleep, I'm doing something entirely different. I'm in bed, but I'm allowing my body to fall asleep while I train my mind to stay awake. And in this body asleep, mind awake state, I'm then deepening my state further and further until I alter my state of consciousness and achieve one of these out-of-body experiences. So I'm extending my consciousness, my awareness, while everyone else has fallen asleep and no longer aware of the here and the now. They're asleep, they're unconscious. So in the periods of time where people look at sleep and they view sleep as being a necessary nuisance, or here comes my train. So I think you can see where I'm going with this. During my out-of-body experiences, I'm in the periods where people consider it to be downtime, they have to recharge, I'm having out-of-body experiences. And fair enough, people usually say to me, but aren't you disrupting your sleep pattern? Well, no, I'm not. Because while in the early hours in the morning when I wake up to have an out-of-body experience, maybe say 4 o'clock in the morning, yes, I've interrupted my sleep pattern a little bit, But ultimately, I'm training my body to go back to sleep while my mind stays awake. And at those same time periods, the average person is now in a REM sleep, and because after 6 or 7 hours of sleep, they've cycled into a very long REM period, maybe 45 minutes. And sleep science has proven now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that during REM sleep, our minds can be as active as when we're in the waking state. So here I am at 4 o'clock in the morning, being very productive because I've woken up, I've gone through a little bit of a meditative routine, I've got my body really relaxed and it's fallen back to sleep. I've now altered my state of reality, and I'm consciously aware in another state, in another dimension of reality. While most people are asleep in the dream state, but totally unconscious. They wake up from the dream, from that REM period in the morning, and think, wow, that was an amazing dream. But they were vicarious. It was a total vicarious experience. They were, not participating because they weren't aware, they weren't conscious in that altered state. So who's being more productive? Who's more in the here and now? My definition of the here and now is being present in the moment, but at the same time, my idea of reality, I view reality in a much wider way, in a much more expansive way. So when my body is asleep and my mind is awake and I'm conscious in these other states of reality, my here and now is expanded. So therefore I see it as in a very productive way. So I don't think people have much of an argument when they say, oh, how can you not, how can you be focused elsewhere when you should be focused on planet Earth? You decided to come into body and have experiences here in the physical domain. Well, guess what? I'm having more moments of being in the moment, more time in the moment, because I do something I love, and so therefore I don't have to distract myself with things in the past or the future, because I love what I do. And then when I go to sleep at night, instead of being unconscious throughout the night, I am being productive. So think about it.